What if I told you there's a support unit in Girls Frontline 2 who can turn the battlefield into a toxic wasteland? Weaken enemies, boost your entire team's AoE damage? Sounds broken, right? Well, meet Mechty, the Corrosion Sleeping Beauty. But is she as overpowered as she seems? Or does she have some serious weaknesses? Let's find out! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into Mechty, the support doll with one of the most unique mechanics in the game. We'll go over her abilities, strength and weaknesses, and the best team comps to maximize her potential. Plus, we'll check out her Vertebrae upgrades to see just how strong she can get at max investment. If you enjoy in-depth character breakdowns like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's go and start with Mechty's playstyle and unique mechanics. Mechty isn't your typical support unit. She plays in two modes, recovery mode and frenzy mode. When she starts the battle, she's in a recovery mode, taking reduced damage from the enemies. But when she activates her ultimate, which is Dream Wonderland, she enters frenzy mode, and that's where things get crazy. Her normal attacks and skills start dealing corrosive damage, and not only that, she spreads toxic terrain across the map, and her entire playstyle shifts into more aggressive support roles. She also works as the glue support for corrosion teams, just like how Vector is the enabler for burn teams. She passively turns Peritia's support attack into corrosion damage, spreads terrain effects, and applies multiple defense reduction and corrosion damage receive debuffs to enemies. If you're building a corrosion-based team, Mechty is mandatory. Now let's go and talk about the skill breakdown. What makes her strong? By the way, let's talk about her basic attack. Normally, it just deals physical damage, but in frenzy mode, it turns into corrosion damage and increases stability damage, making enemies easier to stagger. Her first ability is called Dream Quake. This is a big AoE attack that not only deals corrosive damage, but also creates toxic tiles. Enemies who stand on them take damage over time and receive stability loss, meaning they'll take even more stagger damage. The next skill will be called Dreamless Night, which is her support buff skill. Mechty doesn't just weaken enemies, she also buffs her allies. This skill cleanses her own debuff, restores stability, and grants Dreamless Guardian to allies nearby, increasing their AoE support attack damage, which is super great for Peritia. Her ultimate is called Dream Wonderland. This is where she shines. Frenzy mode that only boosts her attack and defense, but it also grants all allies a Nightmare Shield that reduces incoming enemy attack power. If she gets countered, she even punishes attackers by increasing the corrosive damage they even take. Her passive is called Walking Dream. Mechty passively makes her team stronger. She starts the fight with recovery mode, taking less damage and applies nightmarization to all allies, converting their support attacks into corrosive damage for even more synergy. And that's why I told you that she is the best partner for Peritia. Alright, now let's talk about Vertebrae upgrades because these take Mechty from strong support to core corrosion enabler. Her first upgrade is the Dream Wonderland. The frenzy mode no longer removes recovery mode, meaning she keeps her durability even while attacking. And the Nightmare Shield now decreases enemy attack by 10% and cleanses one extra debuff from Mechty. New frenzy mode effect is that the basic attack gain 30% crit rate. So for sure, this makes her way tankier in frenzy mode, and the crit buff makes her more offensively viable. The second duplicate will be upgrading your passive. This time, recovery mode buff, basic attacks now deal 50% more damage, and the start of turn cleanses 2 debuffs from herself. This makes her recovery mode much stronger and letting her contribute damage even before the frenzy mode. Once again, the third duplicate will upgrade your ultimate. It increases max stack of Sleep Aid Kit by 1, and this time, it restores 30% of her HP upon activating the ultimate. It also heals lowest HP ally for 15% of Mechty's HP and restores 3 stability. In frenzy mode, she gains an extra stack of Sleep Aid Kit. This turns her into a hybrid sustain unit, allowing her to heal herself and provide stability support to the team. The fourth duplicate will upgrade your Dream Quake. It increases stability damage by 2 points. In frenzy mode, the next basic attack deals 100% extra damage and deals fixed damage equal to 50% of her attack to all enemies in range. This makes her massive burst potential and allowing her to hit way harder in frenzy mode. Her fifth duplicate will upgrade her ultimate once again. but this time it will focus on frenzy mode. So it will buff like +2 movement speed and applies Nightmare Shield to allies without it at the end of the action. It increases Convectance Index by 3 instead. So for short, she gets more mobility, keeps allies protected, and gains an extra stat boost for long-term battles. Her 6th and final duplicate will upgrade her passive once again. So this time, it will buff both Recovery Mode and Nightmare Mode. Let's start with Recovery Mode first. So in Recovery Mode, corrosion damage dealt by allies will increase by 25%. The basic attack crit damage increased by 80%, which is a lot. Meanwhile, in Nightmare Mode, AoE support damage increases by 80%. Stability damage will increase by 1. AoE damage will increase by 20%. So for short, massive damage boost to corrosion teams, and this is why she's the glue support for corrosion based team. Now let's go and talk about the best team comp of Mechty. Are you ready? Let's go. So her best team comp is like this: Mechty, Klukai, Peritia, and a Flex. If you don't use Sumi on other team, you can put Sumi here. But either way, the 4th unit will be Flex, it's up to you. Mechty thrives in corrosion-based team composition, making her a perfect support for units that can fully utilize her debuffs and also synergy. So let's start with Klukai. Klukai will be the AoE DPS or the main damage dealer. This will benefit massively from Mechty AoE damage boost and also corrosive synergy. Next up will be Peritia. Peritia, as a DPS, it provides additional corrosion damage and benefits from Mechty's converting her support attacks into corrosive hits. So as we all know, Mechty as a support, the backbone of the team, enabling corrosive effects and debuffing enemies and also applying AoE damage. Next up will be Flex, but for now, I'm going to give you as an example Sumi, which is a support. A durable support unit that provides shields and healing, ensuring the team stay alive in longer fights. This team will excel at spreading corrosion damage while constantly reducing enemy defenses, allowing Klukai's already powerful AoE attacks to become even more devastating. With Mechty's buff and debuffs in play, every attack becomes more lethal and also making this an incredibly perfect or effective composition for PvE content in the game. With this team composition, you will be able to clear all the PvE content with ease and can auto everything beside the boss content, of course. So, is Mechty worth using? Absolutely, especially for corrosion-based teams. With her Vertebrae upgrades, she becomes a must-have for this playstyle. But what do you think? Is she worth the investment, or will you prefer another support? Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future Girls Frontline 2 content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next time. Peace.